All right, Scholar. So I just want to add some points of clarity for this assignment. Uh, Basically, answering questions that I normally get from students when we start working on this. So, your first large presentation of the semester, and we're doing four this semester: introductory speech, informative speech, extemporaneous, and persuasive speech. So, the informative speech is your first large presentation of the semester. It's worth 80 points with another 20 points added in for responses to your classmates in our course discussion. And this speech is trying to give you some leeway to do some things that you're interested in with it. It's a speech of community concern, um, wherein you pick a topic that affects the community you're part of. And hopefully, that we're all sort of part of, and then you explain what the community is doing to solve that problem. Now, I want to be clear on a couple of things. Number one, you aren't writing the whole speech for this assignment. You're just submitting topics for this assignment. I'm going to respond to those topics and say what I think works and doesn't work, maybe give you some suggestions. And two, this is the one that people really struggle with. You aren't persuading us to do anything. All right? There's going to be two main points in this speech. The first point is going to be this is a problem that affects our community. You're going to explain why. And the second main point is here's what that community is doing to solve this problem. It's not going to be here's what I think the community should do. It's not going to be here's what you guys should go and do. You're removing yourself as much as you can from the situation, other than to say, like, I agree with this or I disagree with this. I'm interested in these things. You're sort of reporting. It's informative speech, which is speaking that is designed to convey information and knowledge. Right? Information is data, and knowledge is how to use that data. That's your task for this presentation. So when you think about like what the community is, like we start small. Like Roger Williams University is a community that we're all part of, and as good as the school is at a lot of things, there are some things that the school struggles with as well. Like we have an issue with diversity, and we're contracting some programs. Like here this next year, you're not going to be able to major in philosophy anymore or theater, and those are problems, right? There's also issues with like textbook prices growing out of control, and the price of your meals at the school. Like these are all community issues that affect all of us. And it's easy for you to prove these things because you can look up information through our campus websites. You can call people on campus. Like there's a lot of ways to go and find information about these topics. And to that point, like you'll see that one of the requirements of this speech is you're going to have to cite three sources. So next Tuesday, when we resume class next week, there's going to be a research assignment. And you'll need to pick one of the topics that you submitted. I'm going to give you some feedback on that. And you'll have to go out and find information about those from some reputable sources. And we'll talk more about what citation credibility is and where to find information in Tuesday's lecture materials. So you find that information on what's wrong in the community. But the other thing that you need to find, the second main point, and I can't be more clear than this, there's only going to be two main points in this speech: problem, solution. The second main point is going to be to find out what the community is doing to solve that problem. So let's say that you want to talk about diversity at Roger Williams University. So clearly there is an issue there because we have over 80% of the student body is white Caucasian, and it's not the same sort of working world that you're going to go out into. Like we have a very global village that you're going into after you graduate here, and the more diverse our campus is here at Roger Williams, the more likely it is you're going to be prepared to be a better employee and citizen once you graduate. And if you talk to the school or look up what the school is doing about this, they're going to talk a lot about like different initiatives. Like they're reaching out to different communities. We have outreach programs to different countries to try and draw in more students. So you would explain that problem, why it's an issue for us. You'd explain what the school is doing. And then if you want at that point, you can talk about how you think it's working or not. But again, the point here is not to say, here's what I think everybody should do. The point is not to say, here's what I think the school should do. You're still just reporting on the facts. Here's an issue. Here's what the community is trying to do to solve the issue. We're going to do persuasion later on in the semester. Additional things that you'll need to know about this presentation: the maximum time limit, it's going to be 5 minutes, and at 5 minutes, like if it was an in-person class, at 5 minutes I cut people off. As far as grading goes, at 5 minutes I will push the pause button on your video, and that's where I stop grading. So if you go over 5 minutes, you're not going to get graded on anything over that time. So please, like, we really need to think about, like, how do we compact this information into this small space? And we're going to talk about like source citations this next week. We're going to talk about how to build your main points this next week. We're going to talk about introductions and conclusions, and all that stuff needs to fit in that 5 minute window. And I'm not doing that to be mean to you. I'm doing that because when you leave the warm and comforting embrace of Roger Williams University and your boss comes to you and says something along the lines of, I want a 7 minute presentation at this time, in this place, on this subject, they don't mean 10 minutes, they don't mean 3 minutes, they mean 7 minutes. They don't mean some other day, some other time. They don't mean some other subject. Like, they're going to be very, very specific on what they want you to do. And your ability to follow those rules could make or break whether or not you continue to work for that company, how much money the company makes, whether you get promoted or get a raise. So I'm trying to set you up for success here by giving you some constrictions. All right? It's not the wild, wild west. You can't just go out there and, 2 6-shooters in the air and talk for 25 minutes. I don't know that they would do that in the wild, wild west, but the metaphor started fine, and then it got weird. Or simile, because I said like. So take a look at this thing, think of some ideas, and get back to me. So going back to the idea of community. So Roger Williams is our immediate community, but we expand out. Like when you're on campus in the spring and fall, Bristol, Rhode Island is part of that community. East Bay, so like when we talk like all around like East Bay and Providence, Fall River, Rhode Island, right? We're trying to find a community that sort of envelops all of us in one way or another. And I know you're kind of spread out to the wind this summer as an online course, but I really want you to think about your audience as you pick topics. 1, it should be something you're interested in, but 2, it should be something that you can relate to the people in this class. And those 2 things combined should lead you to a topic that's interesting. And if it doesn't, reach out to me early. Like, remember, I go to sleep at a normal time because I'm old and curmudgeon-y. So like 11 o'clock Thursday night, I'm not going to be responding to emails. Probably not after 8 o'clock, honestly. Like, I get tired. I have to have some time with my wife and Willow and like play video games or something. I really do play video games, but I don't play them in the evening. I can play them in the late afternoon when I just need to unwind a little bit. Anyhow, read these instructions, find some ideas that are interesting to you, submit the topic on time, if not earlier, or late and take the late penalty. That's entirely up to you. And I'll get back to you with some feedback as quickly as I can. As usual, let me know what questions you have, and I'll see you all online very soon.